Welcome to Broad Ideas. Hi, guys.
Hey.
We have Brittany Snow, who I have known for a very long time and have loved for a very long time. She's like just an angel human.
She is.
On this earth. You've known her for a long time.
Yes.
People might know her from the music video, The Phrase That Pays.
Rob's friend's
The Academy,
music video.
The Academy is music video.
Or Pitch Perfect.
Probably more
Or
from
American Dreams.
music video.
Or American Dreams.
Or
Her
Parachute.
directorial debut.
Yeah.
Yep, Parachute.
Or, wait.
Oh, wait, what?
for
There's
it.
more.
Or X.
Or X.
Or X.
Or...
Broad Ideas. That's where people are really going to know her from.
So let's just welcome Brittany.
Let's do it. Welcome.
Oh my God, we're so
Welcome.
happy.
I am so happy. You guys, I've like known y'all forever.
Wait, oh my God, I have to show you something. So I looked this up.
Is it Halloween Horror Nights?
It's sure, or I said the same thing, not Scary Farm.
Yeah,
Same
yeah,
thing.
not Scary
But
Farm.
at Knott's. And I looked it up because I found a picture.
You found it? Let me see.
I was thinking about that this morning as I was coming here.
You were?
Yes.
Okay. We'll have to show it like on the camera, but I just like pulled up one.
What am I wearing?
No,
Let me see.
I'm wearing like, okay. You see this?
My shirt says whipped.
No,
on it.
Oh,
It does. I got it in a gift bag. I remember thinking.
that's so
where you
cute.
got it.
I remember thinking like, I don't really know what this means because I didn't know what that word was yet. I don't think.
Oh my
That's
God.
really
but look
cute,
at it.
but-
You're so beautiful. Look at how, and like, we're so young.
So
This was 2003.
young.
I looked up the date. 2003. So that's
2000.
21 years ago. Okay.
Oh my God, that's tragic.
I have a Chrome Hearts like tank top underneath my white thermal and a vintage purse.
I
think you should bring
have
that
to
back.
tell you though, when I was there, I was such a fangirl of you. I could not believe that I was at this function with you. And I was like, and I had to like walk behind you to do all the scary houses. And I was just like,
Oh my God. Are you kidding? I loved you. It was like very mutual.
But it's just so funny
know,
because
so- I mean,
so long ago.
So long ago. And Brody and I had just, I think, started dating. I
Yes.
feel like we were dating there.
I remember you guys were like kind of holding hands in front of me. And I was like,
it.
Yeah, that was like the beginning of everything.
yeah.
Oh my God. And you were on American Dreams?
I was on American
that
Dreams,
time, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy that I was with was my first real boyfriend, my first love. Gosh, I was whipped. That's why I think I wore that
was
shirt.
accurate.
It was accurate, yeah. But yeah, what a little cutie time. He had the like weird surfer like Laguna Beach
Adorable.
hair.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but so many. Like it's so bizarre to me that time was so influential in my life because I didn't know what the heck was going on. I was going to all these different things and
Yeah.
thinking I knew what I was doing, and I was just completely lost. I mean, I was 16. I don't know how you felt about that
16,
time.
yeah.
but-
16. I did
So
American Dreams with you.
I know.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that till just
Yeah.
now.
Two or three episodes.
You
I
were
don't-
like the friend of the mean girl, right?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes.
We went to prom.
Yes.
I didn't go to prom in real life. I
didn't
went
either.
on American Dreams. And I must say that you were an angel. You were
Oh,
yeah.
That's so nice.
Because you
Thank
never
God.
know what you're going to get, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember coming onto the set and being like really like nervous. And you were just like instantly like there, present, loving.
That's so amazing because I
It is.
definitely was not present during that time. That's
You
really
were.
nice that I was.
I felt
to
taken
people.
care of by you. And
Oh,
yeah.
that's really great.
Wait, but that's
Go
so
16-year-old
young.
me.
I know,
Yeah,
but
that's a big
16
deal.
and like
Yeah.
holding a show, that's such a huge thing,
That
you
was
know?
such a good show.
It was such a good show.
It was a great show.
Oh.
I had no idea the relevance of what it was going to do to my life and also just how important that show was going to be to so many people. I just really was taking it for granted. I thought I would get another show like that tomorrow, you know?
Right.
But yeah,
You're
it
like,
was very
oh,
special.
hasn't been another show like that.
No, there really hasn't. And it was such a show before its time as well because everybody now is doing shows where it integrates music and period things. But this was just so special.
so special.
So special.
I know what you mean. It's like the lightning in a bottle thing. You're like, oh, well,
Yeah.
this is just, because was that your first show? Like your,
My first real show. I mean,
Right.
I had done a soap opera before that
Yeah.
in New York until I was about 15. And then that was basically my first show other than, I remember I went out for a pilot season and I got this is a very strange thing to say because it's going to sound really pompous and like I'm just so talented. But I got I got Everwood and I got American Dreams.
Oh my God.
And I
that's
had
amazing.
to choose between the two. And thankfully, you know, and Emily Van Camp. I mean, I'm sure that it all was like meant to be, but I remember being like, I am just killing pilot season or whatever.
You were a teenager
I was
too.
a teenager, yeah. And so from then on, I kind of, when the show ended, I was like, oh, I'm going to be able to just work forever. And, you know.
But you
that
have.
doesn't, but that doesn't work out like that.
Actually have, you know.
Kind of yes and no. I mean, it goes through some periods where I'm like, I need to pivot. And I always feel like my career is doing like a steamboat, like cruise ship sort of thing where I change very, very slowly.
Right.
Like nothing has been very quick, but I think the longevity of that really serves, you know, what I want. So.
Right. And you've been working on a show recently. You were just shooting, right? And that's a different thing from what you've done. I don't know that much about it. I just remember like seeing on.
Oh, it's so different. And yeah, we were gonna do this while I was there, and it was so intense.
Where
that
were
I
you
ended
shooting? Yeah, it was on
Charlotte,
location?
North
You were in
Carolina.
Charlotte? Oh, it's beautiful.
Do you go to Charlotte?
Charlotte. Sorry, I'm thinking of Wilmington.
Yeah.
Charlotte, I love the airport because they have rocking chairs. That's what I like about Charlotte.
They do. Oh
Yes,
my
they
God,
do.
that's so funny.
I
No,
can
I was
fly
like,
there.
no offense to anyone who lives
You
in
were
Charlotte.
like, wait, what are you talking about?
She looked at you like, interesting.
I'm at Wilmington.
Yeah, Wilmington, Charleston, and South Carolina.
Yeah.
Charming places. Charlotte, I actually will give it a lot of credit. I was there for 5 months and I did
a long
find
time.
pockets of places where are really charming and lovely. But, you know, it's not exactly like people aren't going to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like
No,
hang
you
out.
go to the airport.
You go to the
It's
airport. You sit in the chair.
Yes.
Yeah.
You sit in the rocking chairs. It's really
But
cute.
the show was
funny.
really, really intense and good. And it was probably, I hadn't had an experience like that since American Dreams, where
Oh,
I
wow.
felt really in it,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
which was
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy being back in the TV land? What is it like? Because you ventured off
done a lot of
into a lot of
movies.
movies.
Yeah, I did feel really nice in the TV land again because I really like the consistency and the structure
Yeah.
of knowing day to day what I'm doing. I'm a control freak in that way. And I like knowing this is when I can work out. This is when I can take my meetings. This is when I
Yeah.
can do all these other things because I know the day. And with TV, you're constantly getting, you know, your schedule and things are kind of ebbing and flowing, but there's still a consistency to knowing that you're pretty much working all the time.
Right.
So I did like that. And I really liked the cast and the crew, and everyone was so happy to be there, which is, you know, sometimes not always the case. And from everyone feeling collectively positive about what we were putting out was really, really nice. So,
Yeah. That's so
yeah.
nice.
but the movie part has been all over the place. So it's been really nice to get to be on a show where I'm like, consistency.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I always go back and forth in my head. It's like, well, the nice thing about like going and doing something and then it's done and you move on. But the consistency,
Yeah.
That
I think I
speaks
might-
to my soul.
prefer it. Consistency in general.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. I like ritual, routine.
Me too.
Like you were saying, like knowing when you're going to work out, knowing when you're going to get to do your things. So now that are you on break? What are you doing?
Yeah. Really good question.
What are you doing?
am I doing? I ask myself that question every day. What
Yeah.
the hell am I doing? with
What
my life?
are you doing with your life? How is it going?
I did have like a mini freak out the other day where I was like, I'm not working, you know, and you know this feeling where
Yeah.
if you're not consistently working, and I think because of being kid actors, like you put such a equivalence of like your self-worth to if you're constantly doing something. And so right now I'm trying to just like live in I finished a show. I worked every day for 5 months. You can
Deserve a break.
chill,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but that's really hard for me. So of course I wrote a script and, you know, things like that where I was like, I'm going to keep trying to you know,
Well, you
hustles
have
in my
been
nature.
Doing
Directing, too.
So many honestly, I like look up to you so much, just what you've accomplished and everything
so
you went
funny.
through personally, but you're still just like all this amazing stuff that's coming back to you professionally and I'm sure personally too. It's beautiful. Like
That's so nice.
I'm like, you fucking direct. Like I'm
Yeah.
envious, but in a very supportive, healthy way.
Yeah.
You know?
I totally get that. And I'm like that with so many people where it's like half envious, half inspired because you know
Yes.
that it's in you. It's just, it takes so much work to get anything made. And I think people really don't realize that if you're not in the business. I mean, look at me playing like a tiny violin about this. It's not really that big of a deal, but it takes so long to get anything done. And then when you finally do it, there's that little bit of like, wow, we can still do this. We can pull this off.
We can do this.
Yeah, it's a huge feat. And so I really appreciate that.
No, and it's, that we can do this and we can survive anything, which goes hand in hand. Because even though when you're going through stuff and you're still doing it, it's like, I get up every time. I show up in that ring every single time. Mm-hmm. And I think it's something that really should be commended because it's not easy.
This is true.
It's not, but but then I think about other people who have been through way worse things and who, treat it as something that's propelling them forward and using it for good. And I think that's what I try to do with the movie or with anything that I do is I always think to myself, what is this teaching me? What is this going to teach me in the future? And how can I sort of reframe this in my brain to make it worth it? Mm-hmm. Because it can't all be for nothing. Right. I do not like that. So if anything is really painful in my life, I always think, I'm going to turn this into something. It better be useful for like a movie or like for help or for someone else.
A lesson or anything.
Mm-hmm. I think that was one of the things which is really interesting that I've gotten to this in therapy is that I think for me always wanting to be an actress and I always had it benchmarked as like everything traumatic I would go through, I'd be like, it's okay because I'm going to use it later.
Yeah.
And then as I started to grow up and didn't have that like kind of outlet, I was like, oh, I'm now holding all this stuff. Mm. What am I supposed to do with it? Mm-hmm. Right? And I think that it's an interesting place to come to where you realize that you have a responsibility to do something with what you're holding. Mm-hmm. And whether that's for art, whether it's for creativity, service, to help people, whatever it is, putting it back out there in some way is kind of an obligation in a way.
Yeah, or if anything, and that's
not obligation, but like it's a privilege necessary. It's necessary. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was saying that to a friend of mine the other day and that's like an altruistic way of thinking about it. And this is maybe more selfish, but we were talking about how, there's things that happen in your life that make you really angry.
Yeah.
And that anger is so warranted and obvious, but we can't hold on to it because it's only festering ourselves and it's only going to do anything terrible to our own insides. So giving it away and putting it not on anyone else, but out there in a way is the only thing that's really important. And so, it's almost like an obligation not to hold on to that because if it's not serving you, then it has to be let go. If it,
Right. And it's not serving anyone else.
Right.
But it's really hard. Speaking about anger, that brings up, I don't know how someone goes through a divorce, a separation without anger. I think that is a natural part of the deal. Mm-hmm. What is your relationship with anger?
God, why did I bring this up?
You did it. I did it to yourself.
I did this to myself. Bitch.
We don't know how not to go there.
I know. Me neither. I actually was talking about this with the other day with somebody. They were like, why do you have to go so deep so fast? I'm like, it's literally just my mechanism into connection. I can't, I don't know.
Same.
We can talk about the weather later, but I'm really, really dealing with that. To be honest, the last script that I wrote is about that because it's very helpful for me to really pull that apart because I'm not very connected to it. Mm. I, in therapy, deal with a lot where I'm much more like I can cry. Yeah. I can, and my mechanism is much more like I'll be sad for people or I'll use this in a way that is more empathetic. But getting in touch with my anger is really difficult because when I was a kid, us as like kid actors, you're taught to not be angry because you have to be grateful and you have to be perfect and you have to, be on. And what the hell is anger going to serve? And so I think making that feel okay and safe is really interesting for me because sometimes I don't know if there's like a cap to it. Like if I don't know how to be like, no, this is an okay feeling to explore, because there's such a stigma around that bitch is angry. You know,
it's a stigma around women in anger. Big time. Sure. And I think that you relate, and I relate as well. We don't walk around angry. We're not angry people. Right. I didn't know I was angry until I got sober and went to school. And I was like, I don't relate to anger. Like I feel like what you were saying, I feel sad, I feel hurt, I can feel broken, depressed, any of those things, but not angry. And then once I started to like tap into moving the anger out of my body and being like, what are healthy ways to do that? Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I'm so angry. Really angry. Yeah. And I think you're the same. Like you don't walk around expressing anger in any way, shape, or form.
No, maybe in my car sometimes. No.
I don't even do it in the car. I'm like, go ahead.
No, I know. I'm the last person to actually honk the horn. You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah, so that's true. Yeah, I don't think I carry it. But if you do look at it, of course, we all have it. And that makes so much sense, like growing up a certain way. I'm like, you have to always be grateful and you have to always be this and that. And, you know.
I will say too, I noticed it even in the beginning with actresses especially, and doing this podcast, I've learned so much. There's always this sort of front loading with, I know it's not that big of a deal, or I know people have real problems.
I know, I just did that. I just did that. You have to preface everything.
Yeah. Especially the more an actress has, the more they do it. And it really kind of hurts my heart because pain, emotion, like, yes, there's privilege in life. Yes, you have a beautiful privileged life that you've gotten to create films and television, but you're a human being.
Right.
And your feelings are valid and real.
Right.
And
because you're like, it's real for you. Like
it's real for you.
Yeah.
It's not just you guys, it's all the actresses come in and always kind of preface before saying anything that affects them.
Yeah. And I think the duality of knowing that is really interesting, because my brain just went to, but it's really not that bad in the grand scheme of things, because I think that gray does really exist where you can have feelings, but also be very grateful for the privilege.
100%.
And that gray and that duality is really hard for people to understand, that there's space for both. Yeah. Like how lucky I know I am, but also how much I've been through. Like those two things can coexist, and it doesn't negate the other one.
Right.
But I think that's what I deal with so much in therapy a lot, is like leaving space for the gray of two things can be true.
Right.
You can be super angry about something, but also super grateful it happened.
1,000%.
You know, all these different things that you can walk around with in your car being like, I wish I could flip that guy off, but that's just not who I am. You know, those sort of things are really hard to feel like you can have both.
Right.
But you can.
She's always telling me like two things can exist at the same time. But it is like a hard concept. You're like, oh, I can be.
Well, I can have feelings and also be humble. Right? Like, I think that there's been this kind of linear way of thinking and projecting for so long. And I think that the internet's contributed to that. And a lot of people that don't have the tools and maybe haven't studied in the way that a lot of us with privilege have. So they think if there's any form of expression that isn't positive, that you're ungrateful.
Yes.
Which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I do think, like, you know, and I know you relate to this too. And I think that that's been really hard to navigate, to still feel my feelings and also like understand what that anger is for me, but to not have to keep it hidden in a way, because I didn't want people to feel bad for me. I didn't want people to talk about me. I don't like anybody to talk bad about me. I want everyone to like me. Like, you know, it's something that's really hard, but to then also follow it up with, but I want to be authentic. I don't want to be living a lie either. So
yeah,
I think that all of those things can exist at once.
Totally. But you're in a position where like the world sees what you have to go through. You know what I mean? And that adds a whole other element of like, almost like you can come to your own defense. Not that you have to defend yourself, but like you can control it to a certain degree with a narrative. But the fact that you feel like you kind of have to sometimes because all of it's out there, I think that's the hardest thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, but I don't want to talk about any of this.
I definitely don't. And even now I'm like, oh no, I don't want to talk about this. But,
Of course, but it's just the fact of whatever it is, not even saying like the recent thing that was, a big thing for you, like whatever. It's just like anything when you're in the public eye and then the public feels like they have an opinion on your life and your feelings and what's happening. Support for Broad Ideas comes from Quince. I love the entire experience I've had shopping with Quince. Shifting my wardrobe from summer to fall is always a challenge. But luckily, Quince offers timeless and high-quality items I adore, ensuring my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget. Like cashmere sweaters from $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops, and so much more. The best part? All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. My favorite item, through and through, is the fisherman sweater. And to be honest, I also wear it in the summer because I'm always cold. But that makes my transition from summer wardrobe to fall even easier. I love it so much. The quality, the style, everything works for me. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high-quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/ideas for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/ideas to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/ideas. Support for Broad Ideas comes from Posh Peanut. Your kids grow fast, but that doesn't mean they have to outgrow their favorite items after only a few months. Posh Peanut gets it, which is why they make super stretchy and colorful clothes that seem to grow with your child. So you'll get longer wear out of those adorable styles. Honestly, I wish I had them and they grew with me. Although I guess I'm not growing. Sometimes. Depends on the month. Maybe during the holiday season. Raising a family can be tough, but also amazing and beautiful. Posh Peanut gets it, which is why they make beautiful, soft clothing that is tough enough to withstand all the rough and tumble of childhood. And let me tell you, there's so much rough and tumble. How many times do your kids come home with holes in their leggings? Their pieces are made with ridiculously soft viscose from bamboo that stays soft even after you wash them over and over again. And their high-quality fabric is 4 times stretchier than cotton, so it grows with your child. Right now, Posh Peanut is offering our listeners 20% off your first order with promo code BROAD. Go to poshpeanut.com/broad and use promo code BROAD for 20% off your first order. That's poshpeanut.com/broad, promo code BROAD.
I sometimes sort of find that when I read comments, and I try not to, but I'm also human, I find so much, and this sounds like Pollyanna bullshit, but I find a lot of empathy for people who say those types of things because they just want their opinion to matter. And everybody wants to be heard. Yeah. And everybody wants to say something that everyone's like, oh shit, And I think that that's really interesting to me, that sort of dynamic of like, you're going to make this comment, it's going to get this sort of hit, this dopamine hit that you said something that resonated with someone else. And that connection is so pure and the reason that people do it. And that has nothing to do with me. That has something to do with you needing connection. And I try to focus in on that as opposed to what people are saying and just like,
that is so healthy.
They probably want to like hang out with the other person that liked that comment because they like have a like-minded sort of, even if it's maybe wrong.
But she has a place for all these people. She just talked about this.
I just discovered a place for all these people to go.
In your mind or in reality?
In reality. It's
Where?
World Wrestling. Okay, because I went to a wrestling match and these people were shouting the meanest stuff, but everyone there signed up for it. And so it's in fun, it's in sport, but they're all trolling and they're all doing it together. Yeah. And it's like the wrestlers are egging it on. Like they signed up for it. They're down for it. Go give it there. Yeah. Like it's a great public forum to get out your anger in a healthy way.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go there.
Yeah. It was so fun. I was like
yelling at people.
They're just yelling at people and they're like, you suck. And the person's like, do I suck? Like they're interacting with it. And I'm like, it's connection. It's expression. They're moving stuff out of their body that's stored. They're doing something that's actually healthy.
I know. And I find that's probably a really good place to go because I would imagine that a lot of people are very angry. And where do you put, even if you are not in our business whatsoever and you have kids and you're going from day to day, like where do you put all your anger?
Right.
I mean, that's how it gets people in so much trouble with their marriages or with their work life. I don't know what the answer is other than
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
Well, I told you what the answer is.
Yeah. Or just like going out in the backwoods and throwing shit out of, I don't know. But
that's great.
I love that. Axe throwing.
I would never be able to do that. It would come right back. Like hit something and I would be dead.
It's really, it is sad. I was reading, this is a really tragic thing that happened. This young girl lost her life. I'm not exactly sure how, but she had set a picture. This breaks my heart.
Are you talking about the girl who fell while taking it? Okay.
No.
Sorry.
Whatever this is, I'm already sad.
Yeah.
I know.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. So she's like 25 years old, beautiful tattoo artist. And she scheduled a Instagram post to go up after she died.
No.
Wait, you mean she committed suicide?
They said not to speculate. The family said, can you please during this time not speculate? She's passed peacefully. That's what they put out, right?
Oh.
So
she timed it?
She timed it so it went out after and kind of said, here are the things, if I ever hurt you, if I ever manipulated you, if I ever anything to you, like it was coming from a broken ego, like so beyond moving and heart-wrenching. And of course, I get sucked into reading all the comments and it's like, people will start saying things, they'll come and say things. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so sick. To take that opportunity when someone lost their life to say things to stir the pot. And to me, I'm like, that shows severe illness in our society.
But it sounds like you can turn to empathy, just like what you were saying, because obviously.
Yeah, like it never occurred to me how sick these people are until that moment where I was like, oh, that's something that, of course, we can't relate to because your brain would never have you seek out opportunities to stir the pot when people are grieving.
Right.
And so whether it's an actress they're commenting on, whether it's there's something in them that is not functioning in a healthy way. And that's tragic.
Yeah. I think it's really hard for people to wrestle with the severity of real problems sometimes because it's like our brain as a mechanism doesn't go there. I know for me, whenever something happens, and I try to use this in acting too, because always like the script says, and then she has a breakdown when she finds out. And it's like, that's not what my body does. My body goes nothing, like numb.
Right.
And my brain tries to process it and like, how do I rationalize this? Okay, make it okay. You know, and I think that like that space of not understanding what's happening and your brain is doing everything in its power to like understand it is where I'm trying to go when people react like that of like, they just can't really feel it or else it's too much. It's too hard. And
that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, or they're just terrible people, but I'm going to try to like look at it from the way of maybe it's a self, I don't know, comforting thing for your brain.
Right.
I think even terrible people, there's a reason, right?
Terrible people.
Terrible people. Like there's usually a reason why they're terrible.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I won't go into detail but there's like a certain that I like someone commenting that like changes their name all the time, but like the narrative is always exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like what they're saying.
Yeah.
But it's like so clear that there's just something, you know, they're not well, right? But what do you do with that? Like, do you look at that? And I feel empathy for that person, like that clearly there's, you know, whatever it is. I know nothing about, I don't know who they are. I don't know anything about their life, but like there's clearly something going on. But it's just, I always say like, don't read things. And I started to do this with her a lot. Like, don't read the comments, you know.
I know, it's so hard.
It's so hard not to.
But I also deal with in therapy the mechanism that makes me want to care about everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
And what a great exercise it is to not even care about a few, but to care about nothing. And it's really, really hard for me.
Are you a people pleaser?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was a kid actress. Like that's like my whole DNA. And to undo that learning of, and I think it's hypervigilance too, of walking into a room and knowing what everyone's mood is and how I can be in service to that or like make someone feel better. I mean, that was how I grew up as a kid. And I really have to unlearn that and come in my own way, in my own energy, in my own space, which has been really helpful for me. It's just like,
it's hard.
It's really bizarre how that's my go-to DNA of like chameleon myself.
Yeah,
right.
But now I've done it, you know, and it takes practice, but now I'm really, really proud of myself that I can separate what people think of me as opposed to like what I think of myself. And that took so much unlearning.
Right.
Well, because also, I don't know if you're familiar with Esther Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was listening to her yesterday and someone asked the question, what does it mean when someone's drawn to fame or they want to be in the public eye or acting or any of these things that have that? And she said, it's really simple. She said, where we come from, and this is spiritual, so it may or may not. Okay, good. She said, where we come from, we're so completely seen. We're so recognized. We're so, you know, it's like that recognition that we have, whether it's from source or whatever you want to call it. And then we come to earth and there's like a separation from that. And so people that are drawn to these fields have a deep craving. It makes me emotional because it's like a deep craving for home. Because that's what they're used to. And I was like, oh my God, that's such a beautiful way to see it. And she's like, but be mindful of looking for love in all the wrong places. Because people that are drawn to these things, I've questioned that in myself all the time. Like, what is that draw? And it's like, oh, it is. It's to be seen. It's to be recognized. It's to be appreciated, valued, all that stuff. The interesting part is you get that and then you get all the other stuff with it. And so it's like you're almost back at neutral. Whereas if you weren't in the entertainment industry, you weren't putting yourself out there, you'd probably get appreciation and love from those around you. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you're opening yourself up to all of that you crave. And then all the other attention that is so unhealthy.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Oh,
what
no,
I'm
totally.
saying?
And I actually really love that analogy of wanting to feel home because I think everyone has that need to feel validated in their existence and that you matter and we're here on this rock for like 2 seconds. And what really matters, are we seen? Do we feel home? And I think, yes, the entertainment business makes a false like facade of that like this movie matters, even though no one's going to remember it, you know? But I do think on the flip side of that I think the negativity and the things that come with the entertainment business are the exact things that I needed to learn that gave me the hardest lessons, that put me in the best situation to where I feel the most me. And maybe that wouldn't have happened if I worked at a bank, you know?
Totally.
Right.
And it's almost like I knew that something had to be this hard in order for me to learn it and so I'm grateful for it in a way. Because like working at the bank wasn't really going to have the same lesson as, you know, other things. So
and we don't
not to say that working at the bank doesn't have its very hard challenges.
Banks get robbed. No, but the thing is that we all have, I do believe we all have our own like unique, beautiful curriculum. And what we need to learn is wrapped in that. And sometimes at the bank, like they don't have, she might he might not need to learn what you came to learn.
And it's not better or worse either,
Right.
which is what I think I think a lot of people sort of put on the entertainment business in general, is that like it's better, or people think they have it worse or whatever. It's just different. I don't find it better or worse, other than the privilege that we have to get in places. I don't know. There's every once in a while I'm like, this is cool. I did not have to wait for this.
Yes.
But other than that,
You're like a line at Disneyland.
Yeah.
This is the best.
totally.
No, you know, when you brought up like validation and stuff, in my head, I'm like thinking about everything that's wrong with me. Like the validity I always feel like I need and I get from men, or like the men I choose. And that's where I look for it. And as I get older, it's like, oh, like, no, first of all. But then I keep seeing it like the men like I date, or like whatever it is. And it's always there. And everything kind of feels like the axis is spinning around like this other person and what they either give me or tell me or think of me. And just acknowledging that, like, that's like the least healthy thing, I think.
It's very human.
Did you have this is a
daddy issues?
No, I actually wasn't going to go there, because I think that's so everyone assumes that. But I deal with that in therapy too, because and I'm going to stop talking about therapy, I think.
No, I was
therapy.
I was going to thank you for it.
Yeah.
I think it's the most important thing that people should be like, I was going grocery shopping and then I went to therapy.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I
It
went,
should
like, it
normalize.
should be so normalized as part of a daily
100%.
routine.
But also I think
So thank
people
you.
get really bogged down with the fact that therapy isn't available for everyone, which is very unfortunate and true. But there are
other things now.
And I'm not like a walking advertisement for BetterHelp or whatever, but like I tried all of the things that, you know, but and I think it's so important. Whoever I date is in therapy. Like that
should be a non-negotiable.
It's a non-negotiable because I'm not here to tell you all the things and you're not here to tell me my things, you know. But yeah, I think that I really relate to that, because I think from being so young, I had to be on so much to my parents. And I love my parents very, very much, but they're very like goal oriented. What I achieved was very important to them. Many parents are like this, like wanting you to be a soccer star or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And I think when I first had my first boyfriend, Kyle, my 16-year-old love of my life, was the first time I felt seen. And so I started like connecting that validation with like feeling home.
Right.
Yeah.
And undoing that of like, it's not about a guy or a person making you feel home. That's something to happen later in life, because we don't teach that to kids. Right. We don't teach the like your best friend isn't your home or your, you know, it's supposed to be your parents.
Well,
I know, but but it should be.
No, totally. Yeah. No, it's so true. But you saying that, like the first time feeling seen, I can relate completely. It's like, home. And like the first guy that like loved me, and you know, and you're like, oh, this is the best feeling in the world. Yeah. This is the most comfortable feeling in the world. This is what I relate that to or connect that to.
I still have it. I really do. Even I watched this beautiful film. It was so moving and incredible. It was a documentary called Daughters. And it was about these daughters. It's going to make me cry, but it's about these daughters that go in and have a dance with their dads in prison. And it was this heart-wrenching story of these girls growing up without their fathers and how the impact of not being able to touch them or hold them. And
oh my God, I can't.
I mean,
you need to watch it. Like, I was like, how do I get involved? What do I do? Where do I go? And they were talking about the impact on a little girl not being able to physically touch her father.
I have chills. I can't do that.
And
I know. I just got chills too.
Lost my dad at 15, and I was sitting there being like, oh my God, I'm never going to touch him again. I'm never going to hold him.
Oh my God.
And instantly I went, I have Jeff. I'm okay. I have my husband. Like, that instantly took over. Like, I can hold him. I'm okay.
And he will hold you.
Like, it feels like that father. It feels like that. And I noticed, like, I'm like, is that sick? Like, is that codependent? Or are we allowed to deeply crave other humans, not to complete us, but like gosh,
to hold us.
to hold us.
Yeah.
You know? So, but I still have it. Like, I still feel like that in a sense.
Yeah, I think that's something that I think I try to pick apart a lot of where that ends and begins of not relying on someone to feel like home, but also to understand that we as human beings are supposed to have connection. We're not supposed to be alone.
Right.
We're not supposed to live on this planet by ourselves. And I've actually never shared this before, but I feel compelled to, I guess, now. But my dad has been dealing with Alzheimer's for a really long time. And my dad and I are like probably the closest of my family. And to have him like sort of over the past 10 years, you know, to the point now where he's not really, there is no like physical touch in that way. There is no like home in that way. And to like have the gift of grieving it in a slow process has been really beautiful. Of like, I get to like realize what I love about him and appreciate each thing in these tiny little moments that then get lost.
Yeah.
And although it's quite sad, it's so much better of a gift than it happening suddenly.
Sure.
But I really have to be careful about that when I deal with other people, because I feel like I'm losing something. And so I try to make up for it with other people. Like I try to be like, I'm losing this thing. So like I have to, you know, and trying to like differentiate that has been really interesting because I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see
it.
the
You're
like
grabby. I'm
yeah.
That
And
makes perfect sense.
It does. It makes so much sense.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people, you know, and it's really interesting when I get really honest about it too, because there's so many people that have gone through this with their parents or grandparents, and it's just so everywhere, and it's a baffling disease to witness. But it's, I think, really, really interesting and beautiful to get to see someone still there, but in a different version of themselves.
Wow.
That's a lot.
It is.
That's a lot. It is.
But it's, I mean, I'm doing the thing again, but I'm like, everyone has something like this. You know?
You are doing the thing.
You
I'm
are
doing the thing. I know.
It's okay. You're allowed to do the thing.
But
it is like, no matter what the effect that has on a family and you as the daughter. And
Wait, do you have siblings?
Yes, I have a half brother and a half sister.
I thought you had, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
on your dad's side?
On my dad's side, yeah. My dad was married before. But yeah, I think to your point too, there's like that need for that man sort of like safety, because I don't have that anymore. And trying to still find that within myself, and also find it in like friendships and work relationships, and not putting that on a partner either.
That's hard.
But still navigating the fact that I deserve and want a partner, you know, that's okay. You can make that person your home.
Right.
You said it perfectly. It's like really differentiating where that starts and stops.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is the hardest part. Because you're like, I want this, and I want to give myself permission to have it, crave it, but I don't want to be dependent on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
And I don't want my happiness and well-being to be contingent upon that.
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah.
The contingent of happiness on another person and I think that's what I did with Parachute. My movie I directed was trying to find that the way of describing that feeling and how it goes to the opposite side, where it's like falling in love with someone is so pure and necessary and needed. But then when you take it to the next level, where you become addicted to saving each other in a way of not knowing where you and this other person begin and end, that's the codependency angle that I think is really hard to differentiate. And I think a lot of people get very confused.
Right.
And I know I was. And
It's
so
confusing.
It is confusing.
and also so romantic. Because it's like that type of love where you're like, oh, you know, and all the movies glorify it.
Of course. And growing up watching those things, like I am such a sucker for all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want that movie. I want him to show up at my house fucking blaring music or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But then it's like a fantasy. A lot of it.
Yeah.
But it's true. And I definitely am guilty of like finding happiness from what I get from the guy I'm with. You know? I mean, I say that pre-kid, because that's like a different thing. And having my daughter, obviously, that fills a lot of things. But I'm still guilty of it, But and you just going through the whole process, like with your dad, but in a beautiful way where you're like slowly, and just acknowledging him as the person he is now, and like all of it.
Mm-hmm. How old is he?
He was old when he had. Sorry, Dad. He was old when he had me. So I'm gonna be bad at this math, but I think he's 85.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I've always known that he was an older dad, but he was like my best friend. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's still, there's still moments where I'm like,
you're in there.
Yeah, you're in there. It's cool.
Are they out here or
They're in Florida.
They're in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a gift, though, that you still, because you get that time
Mm-hmm.
and that you could grab his hand still.
Yep.
And like, that's the stuff you crave when they're gone. It's just holding their hand.
Why did we go here? Oh shit.
Our goal here is just to make
Don't
people
come
cry.
here.
Yeah,
Don't come here. You're not safe.
No.
But
It's true. Mm-hmm.
And you have that today, and that's a gift,
I'm going to book a flight.
You're like, I'm going to Florida.
What am I doing here? Yeah. No, but it's also like really interesting because I don't know if you guys deal with this too, but a big part of my lessons of myself too is knowing how to not try to control the trajectory of what happens either, and knowing that like he gets very sad when I leave because he doesn't understand where I'm going or what's thank God he can't know that I'm talking about him, and leaving is really hard, and there's a part of my brain that says you should just stay like forever. Why would you come back here?
Right.
And then the learning and the thing that I need to really wrestle with is like, I still have to come and live my life. He would want me to.
Yeah.
He wants, and go back and forth, of course. But that's been really hard for me, is to like navigate what is necessary. And
See, it's just that still goes to show like everything, people go through personally, and nobody knows you, and like things being out there, like you never really know what
You don't
a
know
person's
anything
going through, or what they deal with.
I will say too,
Everybody has something like that though too, and I feel like that's
What'd you say?
I just did it again.
Yeah, I was like, did you just?
I just did it. I did the quantum. Like I did.
We're
the
gonna do
quantum
a
gauge.
drinking game.
Yeah. But I do feel like the more that I talk to people or I open up about this sort of stuff, I'm hard pressed to find someone who doesn't have something insane in their life.
Right.
And that's why it does feel a little bit complainy to be like, this is what's happening with me, because the next person down the street is
But it's not.
but it's not.
It's not.
Listen to me right now.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
know.
you guys
This
are
is an
giving me, like,
intervention.
Am I in therapy?
Yeah, it's not complaining, because I guarantee you, my life, there's someone that will be on the other side of this with tears in their eyes and feel a little bit less alone today because they heard it.
Yeah.
And so it's part of the gift of the privilege of having a platform. And it's not complaining, it's sharing. Like, I'm a part of AA, right? The magic of that program is being in a room with people sharing their experiences. And because of that, you feel a little bit less alone, and you feel touched, and you feel a little safer. And so you sharing your experience isn't a complaint. It's actually a connection.
Yeah.
And for people suffering, they need connection. And so it's not complaining at all.
I mean, I think that's what's been really beautiful about all these podcasts, and you guys specifically, and so many people opening up. And back when we were growing up, like Julia Roberts was not talking about her day to day unless it was on the cover of Vogue. She wasn't talking about what she ate for breakfast. And so we always sort of had this mentality, like, if you're in the entertainment business, you don't share personal stuff.
Yeah.
And so, now Gen Z is just sharing everything. And, it's kind of like overstimulating a little bit, the millennial that I am talking about it. But I do think that there's a lot of good to be found in the fact that because of social media, there is so much connection, and so many people are feeling less alone. And that's the good part of, sharing of it.
Right.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you're
100%.
absolutely right.
And I want to say too, as a mom and a mom there, I'm sure we would both have the same opinion, is that your highest goal for your child is for them to be the most fulfilled human being they can possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so like when you walk away from your dad to come home and live your life, that is 1000%, no question.
Yeah.
What any parent would want.
Right.
No parent would want you to sit there and suffer with them while never.
No, it's our own like guilt-ridden neuroses of like inner turmoil and bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
And it's so true because that is the number one thing.
Do you guys get scared about your kids being
everything?
Every single thing.
Yeah. But I mean, because I think I want kids. I don't have any kids yet, but I definitely want kids. And I think to myself, how hard is it to be in a world where the comments, the social media, the trolling, like how do you rationalize how you're going to do that?
I always say like when the time comes for my daughter to have a phone of any kind, I'm getting her a dumb phone that does not have any Wi-Fi, social media apps, whatever. And I'm sticking to it. And I know it's going to be a fight. I know it's going to be, but my friends and this and that. But whatever it'll still be there and she'll see it. But whatever I can do to not have her be a part of that, I'm going to do everything in my power. That specifically.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that
your son's a YouTuber.
my son wants to be a YouTuber. But I think that, look, I think everything comes down to programming. And I think that children are being programmed by us. That's just what it is, right? So my whole thing is, how can I program my children to have a belief system in something that is so much more grounding than any of the falsities?
Yeah.
And I think that...
Her answer is so much better.
No, but that's so hard. How do you do that, though? I mean, that sounds amazing, you know?
I think we do our best, you know? Like every day I will be doing something, saying something, letting my child know he has a choice in his thoughts. He can choose which thought he buys into. Which one are you paying money into? This one or that one? Like, I'm doing my very best to just try and help program them to have a good constitution. And I also think that there's a huge surrender in, they have their own curriculum too. And so for whatever reason their soul chose to come into these bodies at this time, that's all part of it, right? Like technology isn't going anywhere, it's increasing. And so it's very clear to me that they probably know something we don't. Like they're more in tune to what's going on than we are in that sense. So I do think
my daughter knows how to work my phone better than I do, but
I'm saying technology is part of their life. So if they're going to be alive in this time, they're going to deal with those things.
Right.
And so it's like, I feel like it's my job to do as much as I possibly can for them to know who they are.
There's a whole
there's
this book called The Anxious Generation that I still have yet to read, but I know
I need that.
You're like, wait, is it about me?
It's probably, it makes me anxious just even
You're like,
thinking about
oh my God, I need it right now. But there is like, you know, the phones and the interaction, and the studies show that it is worse for young girls than boys. And hers are boys. So maybe that's why she has a good relationship with it. But I get anxious just thinking, oh my God, like I have to do this thing or that thing, you know, and there is a lot of anxiety that comes with it, but don't worry, you're in therapy, you'll be fine.
But I do think that's so, I mean, and that's what I tried to do in Parachute too, was try to give a lens of like, this is a part of your daily validation system, your reward system now is looking on the phone for validation of who you are. Right. And if you're young, specifically also if you have like an eating disorder in any way, that is a huge part of the mechanism of how you're realizing who you are is comparing it to someone else.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know who they are anymore unless it's in opposition with something.
Yeah.
Or trying to be like, well, I'm bigger than that or less than that, or I look like this and they don't. And I think that that's rewiring our brains, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, it's a part of how we're going to have to teach our kids to know who they are without that barometer of other people.
Completely. But it's so like you're doing so much work. It's, you know.
Yeah, I think you're ready. I'm
You're
like,
definitely, yeah.
I have a few steps to get there.
I think it's only one. It only takes
really
one
only
step.
one step, and we all know how that goes. But
Remove
yeah.
the goalie. No.
But just like, you know, everything and just being really ready and in that space. And I think it's a beautiful thing to like welcome children in when you have, you know, because a lot of it is learning as you go. But if you start from like the foundation that you already have going, I wish I could have.
And my biggest quote that I say all the time is more is caught than taught.
Yeah.
And so it's our job to model what we want to see in them. Right? And so it's like, we can't sit there and be like, don't compare yourself to other people. You're enough as you are. And then we're in there hating on ourselves and doing all these things. So it is so important that we work on our relationship with ourselves first.
I'm so worried that I've made my daughter a germaphobe, you guys.
Oh, have you?
I don't know.
Are you a germaphobe?
I'm a little like, I need to wash my hands, you know?
I think that's good.
It's good.
Or like, is it too much?
Well, my friend told me yesterday that Briar was saying that she had Purell in her backpack for camp, you know, and we try to use the sprays and like not that stuff. But sometimes, and she's like, no, I have Purell because we're playing softball and my hand is going into a glove that a lot of other people's hands are going in. So I need the Purell. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's you.
What have I done?
That's you.
But also, great, you're not going to get sick. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's bigger issues, but I am a little worried that I've done that.
I think that one might be
okay.
Same.
But just in this
I just don't want to create,
climate.
But you see the anxiety is still there of like, what am I doing? Am I doing something wrong? Am I not doing it right? Am I creating this thing? Is this going to be the, you know, and there's this constant of what am I doing?
Are you sometimes sort of anxious about working on yourself because you know it's going to be through osmosis, like get gone,
girl.
What's the word where you put it on someone else?
Project
onto her.
Yeah.
Or is it you're just so focused on her and making sure that she's okay that it's not really?
I'm going to refrain from answering.
Why? What were you going to say?
I'm going to let you say. She's asking you.
I don't think I project. Are you going to say I project? Do you see this? I'm like, well, how are you going to answer for me?
No, I don't think you project.
No.
Answer.
I don't.
I'll give my answer after.
What was it? What with her?
Like, are you focused on yourself of being like, maybe I should learn from this and not be such a germaphobe because then it will not be projected onto her? Or are you now just focused on her?
I'm just focused on her.
Yeah.
Okay, we have the same answer.
But that's why I was asking is because I feel like I would do the same thing. I would just be like, let's fix this.
I'm washing my fucking hands.
Totally.
You know? But like, I do want to, and I try to ease up, even if it makes me crazy. Like, at an arcade, and if she wants to eat something, I'm like, there's no way you're fucking putting that food in your mouth. You're not washing your hand. But I have to be like, it's fine. It's totally fine. But like dying inside.
Right.
I would think I would have ended up more like that, and I'm not.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my one thing. She's every other thing. That's my one thing.
What are your other things?
I don't know.
Fear-based with the kids of everything.
This dark.
She goes dark.
I feel like that's
I get
how
scared
I'm
of like
too.
mass shootings and I get scared of like that
legitimate,
kind of stuff.
Right?
But
you know,
to the point of like,
I'll be like, I don't think we should go in that big crowd. Like that feels,
but also
unsafe.
Also, I feel like sometimes if that's going to navigate the time that you're having and the collective energy of you guys' experience, don't go in the crowd. You know, that's where I would go with it.
Yeah.
I used to get in little tiffs with somebody that I was with because we had very different parenting styles of our dog.
Oh,
that's a thing.
She could just eat whatever, do whatever. And I would be like, but we're going to have to go to the hospital. And then, you know, he was like, oh, it's fine. Like, cause then she'll learn. I'm like, what? She's a dog.
No, it's different. You're
she
like, it's a
literally
dog.
Won't learn.
You're like, that will kill her.
I've taken her to the ER twice because she ate something and one was a bacterial infection and the other one was a bobby pin. And I was like, this could have just been saved
avoided
if we just would have,
You know,
so I
listen to me.
So I think that I'm going to be that type of parent that I'm like, I don't want to be a helicopter parent, but I also know that
But it's hard
I
not
don't want to go to
to.
the hospital. So like,
It's hard.
But there's a difference between just like clearly, logical and like the right thing. Like,
what would you
don't
guys
let
do
your
in this
dog eat Bobby.
situation?
What?
Question. Because I definitely by no means am a helicopter parent at all. However, my kid his leg hurts, okay? And he can't really communicate why his leg hurts because he's got communication issues. And so I'm like, let's take him to the doctor. My husband is a doctor, so he's like, he doesn't need to go to the doctor. And inside, every day, I'm like, he needs to go to the doctor. Like, we need an x-ray. Why does his leg hurt?
Mm-hmm.
What would you do in this situation?
Well,
wait, that's really specific because your husband's a doctor. I mean,
he's not an x-ray.
but her husband,
right.
But,
do you know what I mean? Like,
but her husband's the doctor that's like, you're not going to the doctor unless you're literally like
if a limb is
dying.
falling off, you'll be like, okay,
Right.
we might want to go. But you're going to find this with most partners. I think it's really hard pressed to find someone that's going to parent like you.
right.
Because I've never seen two parents parent the same way. Have you?
It's interesting.
Have you seen ever?
Nothing
I have
can think
friends
of.
that do. and
Really?
It's bizarre. It's like
never seen it.
very, very interesting to me. But their parenting style is very different than mine.
Right.
Their kids
Right.
walk on the dining room table.
That's mine.
Really? The dining room table?
Naked. Naked.
Yeah, and I'm like to my friends, like, you don't want to get. He's two. Like he's good. Okay, cool. Okay.
And you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Mine are like twerking on the dining room table, naked, screaming butthole. And like, it's different. Other people would be like, but,
Wow. Yeah.
but
It's hard for me to say because I have one and then she's a girl and it's just us and she's a pretty mellow kid. So it's not like I'm being presented with these kinds of things where
Right.
she feels the need to like be naked twerking on a dining room table. You know what I mean?
But
maybe when she's a
but who
teenager.
doesn't? I'm sorry.
I mean, but who shouldn't? Because no, but I think that, what was I going to say? Oh, in the past, when you've said he should go to the doctor and he says, no, 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 you were always right.
I am always right.
Right. I think the lesson here is the woman in the relationship is always right.
But if it's going to make him feel better, your son, then that's what I would go with. If he wants to go because he's in pain and it's not really going to be that big of a deal, I would go to the doctor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, he doesn't complain about things hurting. Like,
Right.
it's not a normal, you
Right.
know.
No, his leg hurts. But then my husband's like, I've already done the math. Like, it's not a broken bone. It would look like this and all that. Anyways,
Right.
so I relate to parenting dogs different.
Right.
I relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tricky because you have to find.
Do you find yourself
Balance.
going like, I told you so? Or do you not say anything? Being like
In
a
my
people
head, I
pleaser.
do.
Right, but not to outwardly.
But definitely I was like, hey, yo, we're at the hospital.
The chocolate you left on the counter.
Yeah.
Like the subtle, like,
Yeah.
I told you
I try
so.
not to be passive aggressive in that way, but he needs to know where we were,
Yeah, you're like, I need you to know right now what I am doing.
Is the dog okay?
Yes, she's fine. She's fine. After like 2 days at the hospital for the bacterial infection, that was even worse.
How'd she get that?
She ate
Poop?
seaweed or something on the beach that was
Oh.
Oh, no.
covered in something.
Wait, you saw it happen? Like you saw
Yeah, and I kept trying to take it out of her mouth.
Yeah.
And he was like, she'll learn. She'll learn.
Fuck
like,
around and find
sure
out.
did.
Yeah, fuck around and find out. Like, she's a 4-pound dog. So
Oh my
her
God, you're
learning
like-
and our learning are very different.
Yeah, you're like, please let me protect this
You're like,
little.
will you learn now?
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, I think I'm very open to different parenting skills and styles with a partner because my parents were very, very different.
Yeah.
And I do think that actually, I always say this with religion too. My dad was atheist and my mom was Catholic. And that was really confusing for me. But it was also really nice because I was left to my own devices.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I got to be like, well, I kind of agree with that. And then I also agree with that. And so that really messed things up in a way where I just found out for myself.
Right.
And so I feel like with parenting styles too, sometimes that can be beneficial, although
For
I would
sure.
imagine for the parents, it's probably a pain in the ass.
Right. No, but I think there is benefits for sure, you know, or things if you're like overly anxious about certain things and they're like way more laid back and then you kind of find yourself in the middle.
Yeah, there's usually a good cop, bad cop,
Yeah.
right? On varying levels. I feel like it's
I don't know.
usually-
I'm a single mom. So like, you know, I mean, obviously she has a dad who parents and I parent, but it's not like we're in the same household doing it. So I think that's a little different.
Yeah, what you say goes.
Yeah, totally. That's how I would do it too.
You're like, no, it's like single mom mentality, but you can be here too.
Yeah, you can watch.
No, but I think what?
No, I was just about to say, like, I'm looking forward to that in whatever way that is. It's scary though, but I'm
It's
just
scary, but you're ready. You feel like
I think I'm
How old are you?
38.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
You're great.
Yeah.
Great. I'm late to the party.
It's
but
better to
you're
be
good.
late to the party. Like
that's what they say, right? It's better than being late.
100%. I think it's great. Every time I'm like, if you can parent and have a baby, like just you've lived life. Like there are lessons. Like you are a fully formed human being with experience and everything, ready to fully settle down and put this kid first, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I also think there's something that happens to you around this age where it's like I think that in the 20s, you think you know who you are in a way that really unravels. And then something starts to unravel around mid to late 30s where you're like, wait, everything I thought is kind of changing. And you're going to be picking a completely different partner to have your children with than you would have picked at 25 or 30
Or 30.
or
whatever.
32.
Yeah.
You know, like that, even in that, it's like a fantastic recipe for choosing a better co-parent.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't you
Or
think?
being able to just have a baby if you want to have a baby.
Yes, exactly.
Like you don't need the,
Oh, you don't? Yeah, you don't.
you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, whatever it is or however it looks. And
I think that's what's been really cool about the past couple of years is I thought my life was really laid out in a way and then it changed and I'm open to that change because it's the way it was supposed to be. So
Exactly.
it's very cool and exciting.
yeah, I think it's exciting.
Thanks, guys.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I am.
Yeah, I'm happy for you too.
Thanks.
I don't know.
I don't know
She's
why.
like, I'm doing it
Yeah.
already. Yeah.
Right. No,
I'm
but
just happy for you in general.
okay. Yeah, but I just think what a beautiful way to just clean slate to like go into another chapter and whatnot, and
Yeah.
beautiful way. And you're doing beautiful work professionally and internally.
Yes. Very inspiring,
Yes,
honestly. And
very.
even just like looking at all the things that you're a part of as far as like anti-bullying and you seem very involved in your own life and others. Not a lot of people are. They're like,
Yeah.
whatever. You know, like you're very,
You are just such a genuinely kind.
I come here all the time.
Person.
Yeah.
Like, have you guys tell me great things?
Well,
and you're
we
pretty
have a
and
list.
people like you.
Yeah. No, it's true though. You're just a really kind, beautiful person.
Thanks, guys.
You're
I'm
welcome.
trying. I try.
You don't have to try though. You know what I mean?
I know that is true. That is true. I do, but I think with all these things that have happened in the past couple of years too, I think the thing that I'm most proud of is that I've really honed in on who I am and the kind of person that I am, and then just like maintained that, and it really solidified. Like, okay, I know who I am now.
Yeah. You know who you are and you know the partner you want. You know what I mean? Because that always comes along with all the other
Definitely.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And career-wise, what is your biggest, what like is guiding you the most? Is it the directing? Is it the acting? Is it writing? What is your biggest North Star right now?
Probably it just kind of depends on what it is about. I think that because I see, because I have done some things and I've been on both sides now, it really has to come down to like, what am I going to wake up every morning and feel so inspired and passionate to do? And it's not worth it to me if I'm half-assing it, because I am so grateful and so lucky that I get to do this, but I have to give it my all. And I want a life that doesn't always have to do with this industry. And so if I'm going to put any energy towards anything, it better be something I'm super passionate about. So that is directing and writing and definitely acting. But yeah, I
is your career, is that the North Star, or is it more, the personal life and
this is us.
Yeah, she's career and I'm personal life.
Oh, yeah. So interesting.
Isn't that funny? I'm like, what is it, the career? And she's like, what does it look like?
I think it's definitely both, because something that I really loved about what my parents did with me was, they were very career and achievement oriented, but also they were superstars in their career. And I looked up to them so much, and they were the top of whatever they were doing. And I think that that's really been instilled in me, for good or bad, I guess. And so it's always been a huge source of happiness for me, which is, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to learn and I'm going to do it well. And so I find a lot of like kismet sort of happiness and connection with that.
Yeah.
But I also do think, like I was hanging out with somebody the other day, and their parents asked me, what are your hobbies? And, the child actor in me is like singing, dancing, accents, rollerblading. And then I was like, no, I have hobbies now, because I do think it's really important to have a life outside of this one tunnel-focused career goal that sort of gives color to the stuff in your career, you know?
But what are they?
Wait, but I'm like, it was someone's parents asking you? I'm like, whose house were you at?
Oh, we're not going to go there.
We're not going to go there.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
We're not going to go there.
That kind of parent. In my mind, I'm like, your friend. I'm like, what friend's house?
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this is so, I was like sweating. I was like,
oh my God, you're like high school.
Yeah. No, but I think that I got really into like cooking and things like that, and like getting really into writing and reading and movies. And I was like, if I'm going to be a director, I'm going to cinephile this up. And reading a lot about making movies and direction and color and editing and things like that. And although those aren't really hobbies, I do find like they take up a piece of my brain that makes me feel separate from the achievement of getting somewhere.
That makes sense.
I find it fascinating, and I don't have to like get anything when I'm watching a movie or learning something or cooking something.
Right.
Yeah.
You seem like you're in such a good place.
Well, that's good, because 2 years ago when you asked me to be on this podcast, I was not. I was like,
like you said, timing is everything.
Yeah, timing is everything. I was like looking at my phone like, you can't go on our podcast.
Oh my God.
You weren't supposed to.
You were supposed
You
to.
needed to cocoon and go inside for a minute.
You had some stuff to, it happens. Life happens. And
thanks for waiting for me.
I love her dearly.
Me too.
Yeah. I just had to say that.
I know. It was hard not to, I don't know.
Not to kiss her? What were you going to say?
Always.
It was so hard not to kiss her. It was hard not to just like keep her forever.
Yeah.
Just like cuddle her up and put it in your pocket?
No, I mean like just keep, yes. Also,
do you know, I have had this thought, like how nice it would be if I could literally fit in a pocket. No, just stay with me here. Like, actually, like, be in a pocket, like, all cozy in a little space that's, like, enclosed and, like, you're just there. And I wonder if that has to do with my anxiety.
Probably.
Well, that's also why you like the weighted blanket. And
I don't love a weighted blanket.
You did.
For, like, a minute.
You were trying to hype it.
You know what I really love
it.
that I've never had?
An Uller?
A what?
An Uller blanket?
I was going to say a good relationship.
All three of our oldest are outside that window.
My oldest and one and only.
So
but
far.
your oldest?
My oldest.
Ist.
My oldest is.
Yeah.
What if those three start their own podcast
That's amazing.
when they grow up?
That's so
That
cute.
would be cute. Okay, so what have you always wanted and never had?
Oh, a bed Or either, like it has curtains.
Oh, a canopy bed.
But I don't really want a
to keep
canopy
the
bed.
bugs
I'm
out.
more
Like
like
a
a
bug
bed,
tent.
Rob, more like a bed that's like built into the wall. You know, it's like your own little cave and you can have curtains that
Oh,
close
that
it.
sounds
what you
nice.
mean.
Like an
They're really
enclave.
cute for the kids.
Like a
They are, but
Murphy bed.
I want it.
That you can put
No.
up when you're done.
Rob, I want that. I want an enclave bed. I don't know if it's what it's
That
called.
does sound cozy.
Like the coziest, right?
Yeah.
And you have shelves with your little books on it and a little lamp in
light.
there.
Yeah.
And then the curtain closes.
It's so built in though that
I like a built.
I like being able to rearrange rooms.
I know, but like if you had a little like cubby
Yeah, I mean, it
nook
sounds
situation, the curtains, you know how dark it would be? Do you know how good you would sleep? Do you guys need blackout curtains? Do you need blackout to
Except
sleep
then
well?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But then I could never sleep on the inside of your enclave bed. That gives me massive anxiety of like having
If
to
you
get
have
up
to
and go
pee.
pee.
Totally
And
feel
then you
you on
have
that.
to like climb over someone.
Let's rethink it. You build something, so it's not a canopy bed because I don't necessarily want a 4-post canopy bed.
What if we go higher with it? There's slides out on each side. So you got to get up and go to the bathroom. You can just slide out.
No, but if you build it in the different way, I know we're gonna work on it.
You
we're
could build
workshopping
it so that your head goes the other way.
That's what I'm saying. Is like
And your feet
Yeah.
are at the end where the
Just
curtains are.
figure
And
it
then you
out.
have a remote that shuts the curtains so you don't have to move.
Wait, so are the curtains cutting the bed in like half? So part of you is sticking out?
No,
It's just like your
oh my
feet
God.
hanging
That
out.
is the most vulnerable thought of like not being able to see your own feet.
vulnerable. Do you guys, when you see people eating by themselves? I know we've talked about this.
Where is-
Yeah.
No, like I know we've talked about it, but like
Yeah.
a person, I'm gonna start crying
Well,
right now.
so we did a 3 Michelin star restaurant in Chicago when we went. It's like a 12 or 13 course meal. And there were 2 people that night that did it by themselves.
That doesn't make me feel bad because
That
that's
doesn't
like
either.
a course meal to Michelin restaurant, and like that's a thing.
You mean
Like they
the
set out and
person-
intended to
So
be
you're
that
eating
big
in like a
specifically.
food court. They're eating
No,
like
or like at the ice
Auntie
cream
Anne's.
store, and the person sitting on the stool, and like, you know, and they were happy. It has nothing to do with them. Like they're perfectly fine, but for some reason,
How do you feel when you eat alone?
I don't care.
What-
Yeah. Let's see if
I
he
mean,
connects to
like,
this.
I don't feel bad. Like I like to.
I don't give a fuck. But when you go eat.
But I'm
you know,
crying over the fact
Yeah,
that we're
but
thinking
I'm
of
crying
someone
over
else
someone
doing
else
it.
doing it.
But what does it mean? You know, because they were happy to do it. They're fine. But like for some reason, it does something to my insides. I know we've talked about this.
It's because
before.
you go back to the memory of like the
girl
kid
eating the
the
white bread sandwich
with
with
her
the red
nails.
nails.
Yeah.
With the kitty litter in it.
Rob.
What that was that Little Rascals?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
But do you go eat in restaurants by yourself?
I have and I do and I like to. I don't do it often, but I would.
Yeah.
I really like it. I like doing things by myself.
Yeah. Okay.
I was
All right.
thinking I'd like to take a trip
Would you
by
like
myself.
to do this podcast by yourself right now?
She's in her goth phase right now.
I'm not in my goth phase.
Oh, I was like, I don't even get
Just
what
the
that
hair,
means.
the jean jacket, the black hat. You're wearing
That's
all
not
black
goth.
right
It
now.
is not goth.
You're wearing all black and your
It might be a
hair's
little
black.
Garth. She's in her Garth face.
It is a little bit goth.
It's giving
It's
Garth.
not goth.
You're wearing all black
I'm wearing a black jumpsuit, first of all, and a jean jacket.
with dyed black hair.
Oh, my Lanta.
And my hair is not
It's not-
black.
It's also not dyed black. Her,
It's
natu-
naturally black.
her natural hair color is dark.
I have very dark brown hair. My hair is not black. Rob.
Didn't you ever see the OC?
No.
He only
You're
was looking at
lying.
Marissa.
I lied about it the whole time.
She had dark hair. She's
I
going
have
back to her summer roots.
I'm
okay?
naturally dark.
Yeah.
Naturally dark.
I personally think it hits really hard.
I didn't say it was a bad thing. I don't know why you both went negative when I said it.
Because you automatically were like black hair, goth. Like I feel like that is.
You're putting her in a
What
box.
hair? What color hair does a goth person have typically?
maybe dark purple.
Maybe.
Okay.
She also has zero makeup on.
I know.
No, I don't mean it like that. I mean, that's very anti-goth, like fresh face, whatever. You know what I mean?
You guys are the ones that feel a little bit anti-goth. I didn't mean it as a bad thing. I didn't mean it as a bad thing, and you were just like, "There's no way I'm goth
I'm
at
more
all."
like you saying that I have black hair.
Okay.
But like, I only say that because like I have dark brunette hair and I didn't dye my hair black. I have, and that's nice, and I like
You
it.
didn't dye your hair at all right now?
She went back to her original color
How?
through fucking
Dyeing it?
no.
Through what? I'm
You've never
sincerely
messaged your hair to do something different?
I'm sincerely asking.
I'm confused.
I'm always confused. I'm confused.
Did you not get your hair dyed at all?
Yeah, she dyed it back to her original color that matches her roots.
Okay, but it was dyed, right?
Yes, but it wasn't dyed black to go Garth.
It is,
I mean,
It is dyed what?
it was, yes, I got my hair colored.
That's why. Okay, then why are you acting like I'm insane?
Because you're calling
you
me
are.
goth. Whatever. Goodness gracious. Anyways, something I found on Instagram. I
fantastic.
care to share. Okay, old phrases we still use today and where they originated from.
Oh, yeah.
In the 18th century, hat makers used a toxic substance to create the felt used to make the hats. This substance would cause mood swings, loss of coordination, memory loss, and even paranoia, hence the saying, mad as a hatter.
You didn't know that, did you?
If you attended a carnival and played a game to win a prize as an adult, you would try to aim for the top prize, which was a cigar. But if you did not get to this prize, you quite literally got no cigar.
Close, but no cigar.
Yeah, you got close, but no cigar. Sorry, I went so fast. I didn't.
Hey, I never.
riveting.
Yeah, but I
See?
never knew where that came from. Did you?
Back when the pirates roamed the seas, they quite often got very drunk on board and would go beneath deck to rest if they felt ill. When they did this, they were under the weather.
Oh, because they're under the weather.
I knew she'd appreciate these.
Deeply.
That one went too fast.
there
All right.
more?
There are a couple more. You want me to do the other one?
I like
Two that
Yeah,
I
these are
missed?
great.
I'm sorry. I
think
really
it's
like it.
fascinating. Right?
Yeah, under the weather.
Right? Thank you, Olivia.
You're welcome.
During times when football was on the radio, before televisions were a thing, the pitch was divided up so it can be followed easier by the listener. If the ball was back in the goalkeeper's box, you would hear back to square one.
Ah, because they would literally go back
Rob, I thought
to
you'd like that
square
one. It was a sports reference.
I love that one.
Did you
Back
know
to square
that?
one.
No, I didn't.
Okay, there's one more, guys. Back when newspapers were written with typewriters, each letter was called a sort. And when you run out of letter type, you quite literally run out of sorts.
Never
Like
heard
out of
that
sorts.
expression.
You're like
I'm
out of
out of
sorts.
sorts. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, wait, there's
Got it.
one other one. Don't worry, Rob. One more.
Me? I'm out of sorts.
In ancient India, there was a religious act to throw butterballs at the statues of their gods to seek favor and forgiveness. Hence the saying, butter someone up.
Oh.
I mean, I gotta fact check these, but like,
Are you going
Are you going to, though?
yeah,
Where?
right
When?
now. I'm gonna
When?
Google it.
Do you guys use Chat GPT for things?
I do not.
You don't.
I have seen
Do
it in
you?
action.
Jeff uses it constantly. So when I ask questions, he'll be like, let's see.
So you use it through Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
this
don't
is
actually
true.
use it.
It's an ancient 18th century, comes from an ancient Hindu tradition of throwing balls of ghee butter at statues of gods in order to ask for favors. I fact checked that one, so they're all true.
Would it be weird if I started throwing butter balls at you when I want things?
Just trying to butter you up, Rachel.
That'd be amazing.
I always thought buttering you up meant like giving you, like fattening you up. You know?
I don't think I really thought about what it meant.
Butter someone up? You thought it meant fattening someone up?
Yeah.
You didn't know to butter them up was to like...
To grease a wheel.
No, I know what it I thought it like the term came from like
Oh,
yes. Oh
oh,
lordy.
jeez.
No. Oh my God, that would be amazing if I was just like, but I thought it meant.
Oh, I remembered the other thing I wanted to bring up to you guys. I'm really like slow on the, watch things that people are watching. American Nightmare? Is that the one? With the kidnapping?
Yes.
I finally watched that. Did you watch
Is
that?
that the one with like they like let the guy come live with them?
No, they said the
that
girl
one?
was like reenacting like Gone Girl. Like she faked the
They
kidnapping.
made it seem like she faked
That
her
was the
own
most-
thing. That was unhinged.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was nuts.
That was nuts.
I watched a really kooky one that really screwed me up.
What?
I think it was called like Lover Stalker Murder.
Oh, I think I
something
saw
like
that.
Oh my
but I didn't
God,
watch
it's
it.
so unhinged. It's so unhinged. Like you're like, wow.
It's like that thing, that meme on Instagram. It's like, I cannot watch a movie where a dog dies, but to put myself to sleep, I watch murder, like documentaries and people and whatever. And I forget the meme exactly.
Someone called.
Wasn't that so crazy? The American Nightmare?
It was so messed up, like
So messed
in
up.
so many ways. I can't even.
And the guy looked like just like a normal dude that you would
Oh my God.
see at
Totally
the
normal
grocery
dude.
store, like
Total normal dude.
Yeah.
It was weird because he had like this weird like. Ugh. Anyway, sorry, Rob. What did you see?
Do you guys see Long Legs?
No, isn't that about a serial
Great
killer?
documentary about a satanic
Serial killer, right?
serial killer.
Long legs.
I thought it was a movie.
It is.
Oh, you're fucking with us.
All of these families, the father goes crazy and kills the family and then himself. And they find out that like the daughters were all born on the 14th of the month.
I was born on the 14th.
Were you?
Yeah.
Well,
This doesn't feel good.
Should we watch it?
it's good. It's fun. Nick Cage is in it.
I knew he was
looks
in it.
He looks insane in it. Like they made him look androgynous.
Seems
like,
so hard.
like he had all these botched plastic surgeries because he wanted to look perfect for the devil.
Oh my good God.
Yeah.
Oh God. What is with people?
It's a movie and he didn't really.
Did you watch Dance with the Devil?
Not yet.
Did you watch Dance with the Devil?
No, what's that?
Did you watch
It's
that?
about like this TikTok.
Late night talk show.
I saw that too.
TikTok.
You know what I heard was good? The
Is it a
Dallas
TikTok one?
cheerleaders one.
Yeah, I want to watch it.
Me too.
Wait.
Dance with the Devil is a.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah,
I
it's
saw the
about
devil
like
on
a TikTok
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
about TikTok. They're dancers on. They're like TikTok
no,
dancers.
I did not watch that.
The way you said it, I was like, that's so weird that he wants to watch that.
Late Night with the Devil was what I thought you
No.
were talking about.
You know, do you ever judge Natalie for what she watches?
All the time.
Oh, you do?
Really?
What does she watch that you judge?
I don't judge it in necessarily a bad way. But like there's TV you watch that's just like a comfort and
Like what? I know we've talked about this, but I can't remember.
like she watches Roswell and Gilmore Girls again and she watches a lot of
It's
those
so
on repeat.
surprising to me.
She watches a lot of what?
Them on repeat. Like she'll watch Buffy over again and
But you don't get irritated.
no, I don't care. Do you ever judge Jeff for what he watches?
I don't judge him, but I leave the room.
Yeah, I mean, that's
You
the same.
know?
She'll turn it off because I don't want to sit and watch Gilmore Girls
Yeah.
before bed.
But I feel like he gets disappointed when he sees what I'm watching, you know? Versus when he watches a lot of like action. Bores me to tears. Like I will never sit down and watch an action film.
He's just watching Lethal Weapon over and over again.
He'd watch it, but also like all the Marvel movies, all the movies, anything with like action, you know? And I'm watching weird stuff and
So you feel judged by him, but you don't judge him.
Correct.
Is there a crossover at some point?
yes, stand-up comedy and then like political shows. Like we watch The Daily Show together and Bill Maher and the news and stand-up comedy.
Fox News.
We watch all the news. We really do.
I watched My Lady Jane.
I hate watching the news.
We
were at my parents' and
they had it on all the time.
It was just always on the TV.
I know,
It
it's
was
always
so depressing. It
Yeah,
was like,
I don't.
why is this on all the time?
We would rather watch like the, political shows, like the comedy ones. And at least we're getting a little information.
Right.
John Oliver. And...
Yeah, we like all that stuff. All of it.
I watch nothing.
You guys ready for your options? I found my husband sexting someone else. Sexting cheating.
Yikes.
I went through my girlfriend's phone. What do I do? I am uncomfortable continuing my relationship with my girlfriend after she slept with her current best friend just before we became exclusive multiple times.
Let's do that one.
I'm in a relationship with someone who was sexually active with her male best friend during the same 2 months I was also involved with her sexually and emotionally. I've always been doubtful about her having many male friends, but she insisted I keep an open mind, which I did. However, this situation has been the last straw for me. Her sexual involvement with her male best friend during the same time we were together, despite her reassurance about how special our connection was, has made me question everything, and I feel deeply uncomfortable. Despite her telling me that she never felt this way towards anyone before, it's become clear that my feelings of something special might not have been as unique as I thought. She still hangs out with this friend both online and offline, which is making me uncomfortable and questioning the authenticity of our relationship. It is so far right that she didn't do anything with anyone during the relationship. But still it stings. I'm willing to communicate with her, but do you think it's logical and understandable that I feel so turned off by her now? Additional notes, I'm hurt by her lying more than anything. She told me I was the only one whom she was involved with at the time.
That's hard. That's...
Have you ever had sex with your male best friend?
Not me.
Have I?
No.
Who's your male best friend?
I don't know.
I never have either. I think
I'm both your male best friend. Right?
Yeah, we've never had sex with you.
Definitely not.
Here's the thing. I feel like I understand his feelings on that. One, she lied. That's the part
also,
that's
like,
shitty.
just knowing if there's like a quote-unquote best friend, but you've been intimate like that, it just adds this other thing.
Yeah, and I'm fine with staying friends with exes.
Yeah.
But that's different than being your best friend that you also have sex with.
Yeah.
That's not the same.
Well, it sounds like a semi-fresh relationship.
And she lied.
Yeah, the lying is really which would make me feel like he feels.
I mean, she probably didn't want to hurt his feelings and probably didn't want to sacrifice the relationship with her best friend.
Yeah, but
not to justify it, but I'm just saying as an explanation.
Yeah, it's not a good, but think about it if you met a guy and you were like dating him and he's like, and here's my best friend. And you're like, oh, hi, I'm getting to know your best friend. I'm Olivia. It's so nice to meet you. And I also have sex with her.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they're actively having sex. They had sex
well, there was an overlap.
Yeah.
There was an overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard. That would be very hard.
That's a no for me.
I think is the question though, if their ex is their best friend, are you okay with that? Or it's just the overlap that makes it uncomfortable for you?
If it was like years way back, that'd be different.
Yeah. And it was just platonic, like nothing, no like dabbling, no revisits,
Correct.
Yeah.
What if there were revisits, like every couple of years they did?
Yeah, that's a no for me.
That's not a best friend.
Yeah,
that's more than a friend.
Buddy that you've had along for a little while.
That's more than a friend.
Yeah.
That's definitely more than a friend.
Yeah.
Like if you accidentally slept with your best friend and that was...
Accidentally.
I mean, look at it. People accidentally do stuff once. Right?
I mean, I dated someone that still lived with his ex-girlfriend.
Yes, you did.
And even still shared a bed with their ex-girlfriend. But they were like strictly platonic at this point.
You did? How long did you date while that was happening?
Well, I think things changed because they started dating me.
But I do believe that can happen because I think there's certain relationships when it's over.
Yeah.
And that people, you know.
Yeah. Like I
don't think for a second there was anything shady in that situation.
No, me either. That's why I was like, I mean,
Circumstantial.
it's weird. And like, if we're going to like really date, I don't want you, you know, sharing a bed with someone, but like, I never felt weird about it. Like in that way.
I didn't either.
No, not at all. All right, guys, this was fun. Thanks. Love you, Brittany. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you. And good night.